You guys, I'm so excited for today's episode. Today we have legendary Hakim Abdulsamad, artist, songwriter, music producer. Songs like Down My Heart, Lucky Charm, A Little Romance, Crazy. He was producing music for artists like Shanice and Tevin Campbell as a teenager. As a music producer, now he's worked with artists like Wizkid, Techno, Akon, just so many legends. And I am so excited to welcome him to the show. We're going to be talking about what it's like to be a child star, but also talking about what it was like to work with Michael Jackson on Moonwalker.
Four of the most exciting young men in all of show business. Great welcome, please, ladies and gentlemen, for the boys.
Hi, my name is Hakeem.
I'd like to introduce one of my favorite groups, the boys, to everybody.
Hakeem, those were just some cool moments from back in the day. What comes to mind when you see some of those clips?
A lot of reminiscing, reminiscing on the days.
Um, Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. All the memories come flooding back.
Can you take us back? Can you tell us how you and your brothers were discovered and signed by Motown?
Well, we started performing on the beach, like as street performers, which is kind of like, well, actually, even before that, we were performing. But from being street performers, we met some people who could make a demo tape for us. And actually the people who made the demo tape for us actually had was linked up with Babyface in LA when they were first coming to California to try to break into the music industry. These people were kind of hosting them, in town. So somehow everything just was blending together at the right time, you know. And one thing led to another. We had the demo tape. Then my mom had a friend who was connected to all these labels and stuff. So she took the demo tape in there. We had the videotape with us on Star Search and some other, you know, uh, content. And with the videotape, the demo tape, the photos, the lady with the connections, we had like 3 record deals on the table pretty much immediately.
Wow. Wow. And so you guys, I think if I remember correctly, because I just was doing some research, you guys were signed first to another label and then moved with an executive to Motown, correct?
Yeah, we were on MCA. That's who we signed to, MCA Records. But I think either they bought Motown or the people who own MCA also bought Motown. So it was kind of like still the same family, but yeah, we got moved over to Motown to help build up the new Motown, a whole new set of executives, a whole new vision, not the old soul Motown.
Right.
So yeah.
Yes, and you guys did just that. I've got the your debut album right here behind me. And I want to talk about Down My Heart. Down My Heart is the 1988 debut single by the boys. The single was a crossover hit for you guys, peaking at #1 on the Billboard R&B singles chart, #13 on the Billboard Hot 100. From 1988 to 1990, you guys were on there, as well as the dance chart. Was a really big success. I was watching actually you guys' Unsung the other day, and someone said, one of the people that was being interviewed was like, they're the most highly anticipated sibling group since the Jackson Five. It was kind of like Boys Mania when you guys were out. And there are very few people that kind of understand that dynamic and just like, debuting and then bam, like on fire. So tell me what it's like to experience that high level of stardom at a young age. Just because I'm curious, and I know a lot of my listeners are Michael Jackson fans that are also curious about like the Jackson Five and what that might have been like. So I want to know about your experience.
Hmm. What was it like? It's kind of a hard question. I mean, it was fun. It was um, nice in many ways that it opens many doors, makes life easy in many ways, you know? And then in some other ways, like sometimes people going crazy too much, could be disturbing. Going to the mall, being too famous, you got like 100 people following you in the mall from every store, just trying to look at you and stuff. You know, that could be fun, but sometimes it gets too much. There was a lot of responsibilities and stuff like a grown up, but I like that. I prefer it like that. I think I think young people should like be doing things earlier than how the system kind of sets us up to like be in school till 18, 19, 20, and further until we actually start developing some business. So we were pretty much doing business from like 10 years old, on. And it was serious work. There's rehearsals, there's planning, there's editing, uh, music together to make the show tape nice. There's just a different mindset, than the average child. But it wasn't too much. I mean, we could handle it, and it was fun, and it was what we really wanted to do. A lot of young people, if they see their favorite star on TV, they get inspired and they would love to do what they do, perform like them, play the music, tap into the inspiration, the joy, whatever they're feeling. And that's the same way we approached it, you know. So it was definitely a blessing.
That's so cool. And, I can imagine that it was hard work, but also, like you said, you guys were kind of seasoned. You had been going to Venice Beach and performing, as well as you were in gymnastics. All of you guys could backflip and do so many cool tricks on stage, which I always thought was cool growing up, like watching you guys do that.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend the other day just about business and things like that, and I was like, a lot of people need to focus on their basics, get your foundation strong, and then you can blast off. And nobody wants to start at the bottom. Everybody wants to shoot straight to the top fast, right?
Mm,
But look at us. We started as street performers. Like that's the lowest you can go, pretty much. Where you performing on the street and with a box where people can throw coins. You know what I'm saying? That's the humblest it gets. The humblest that it gets. You know what I'm saying? So, and we faced all type of crazy stuff out there. People trying to rob us from the donation money out the box, and
wow.
you know, just all types of stuff. But starting that so young, is like we got the foundation. You know, we got the foundation done.
Right.
And we got it real strong, That's why everything just kind of clicked together and just fell into place. And then people were just blown away like, look at these kids, they're so organized, like they got their stuff together, their performance, they're not shy, they're not, they're just going for it. And I think like any young person could do it It's just that we were kind of put in that lane from early on. With my mom being an actress, her mom also having a theatrical ensemble. We grew up around all of that. So we were just put in the lane. And and me and my brother, we used to organize our dance routines ourselves without anybody telling us. You know, just being bored in the living room, like, okay, let's come up with a dance routine. So
Wow.
things like that um, sparked the flame.
Now, how was it being in the group with your brothers? Because there are a lot of groups, but not a lot of people can say that they were in a group with their siblings. How was that dynamic?
Yeah, that was great. That was great. I mean, traveling around the world and stuff too. Um, yeah, there's different times. There's times of boring times. There's times of fun. But when you got your brothers around, you can always crack jokes. You can always, you know, even be creative musically, come up with ideas. So we always clicked, and I kind of think like maybe a little bit we're fans of each other. You know what I'm saying? Um, because I know like my elder brother, he started recording and creating songs with some little equipment, and I used to watch him do that, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like I need to get on mine. You know what I'm saying? So I start trying to catch up because I was like a fan of his stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then I don't know. He's a fan of my stuff too. Now some of it, some more than others. And then all of us. You got Taj. He makes his own music. He can produce his music. He writes his lyrics. He's crazy with the lyrics and the melodies. Bilal is like a harmony genius, a soul technician. You know what I'm saying when it comes to music. And Bilal got a lot of hits in Africa that people don't even know, like big hit songs in Africa that he's written. Uh, Melody wise, maybe not with the language because they usually change it to their local language. But so we all have these special, unique things, and when everyone kind of like picks up from the next one and kind of is inspired by each other, it creates a synergy, that works. Now, there can also be fights too. You know what I'm saying? But that kind of works as well. You know,
That's
like me,
powerful.
my daughter, we're like best friends, but we fight like every day. You know what I'm saying? Almost.
It's like the family dynamic. That's just what
You
it
know,
is.
it's got to be something like this one situation. Like I would tell her, if I get you some markers or I get you some paints, only paint on paper, okay? Not on the furniture, not on the walls, this and that. Yo, if I show you the walls right now, she draw like she goes crazy, and I'm like, I told you, so we have to fight. We're gonna have
Right.
to argue something,
You,
but we come back together.
Hakeem, you have to get so Crayola has this thing they're called Color Wow. I don't know if they have them in Africa, but they only work on paper. It's like a clear marker. The color only comes out
Wow.
on paper. Maybe I'll have to send you some because that could be a game changer.
For real, for real. But what I've been noticing, the more I buy her art supplies, she gets better. Like every day, I look at her art every day. I'm like, whoa, how did you figure this out? So I gotta keep pushing, like investing. You know,
Yeah, that's that creativity has been passed down.
for real. It's worth a lot. It's valuable.
Now, I want to show people, the folks listening and watching, your first three albums you guys put out. So we'll show this first picture here, which is Messages from the Boys, and then you guys had some other albums which we'll put up here. This is self-titled, and the saga continues. Now, after these, you guys kind of abruptly decided to step back from the industry. Can you just tell us about that and maybe why you guys were over it?
Um, I think it was becoming like too much. I don't know, business, politics. It was losing the fun edge. It was becoming almost like a slavery. Like, some things were becoming forced. Issues of you do this or else, or this, that, that. So things like that would, I know it made me feel like, okay, as soon as I can find a way out of here, as soon as I can find that open door, I'm taking it, you know?
Yeah.
And it was enough by then, like so much responsibility. If, let's say, if our first album dropped at when I was 13, we started working on an album when I was 10. So let's say from 10 to like 16 or something like that, it was kind of like enough. It was enough. And I think it was a great time to start exploring what the independent side of life would be, because we were in the system really deep into the major labels, distributors, you know, all of these major players and everything. But I do feel like the independent side is very valuable as well. And so that was the beginning of now transitioning, looking into what could be done without what I would call Babylon. You know what I'm saying? The system.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so inspiring though because it seems like you guys kind of took matters into your own hands, and even with the second album, which I wanted to mention, but now I'm remembering, you actually decided to produce a lot of that album, right? And I think wrote and produced the debut single "Crazy" as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we were always creative and we were just hoping that people would believe in us, the label giving us the chance, our parents backing us. And I guess they said, yeah, your stuff is good enough. We'll let you do it, and we did produce most of it. Um, yeah, and still to this day, like a lot of people have good memories about those productions because they're different, they're unique, they bring something different to the table.
Yeah, for sure. On the way here, I was playing Crazy in the car, just like blasting it on the way here, just like, trying to get pumped up for the interview. And I was just like, this song is great. Like, I need to listen to it more often. Sometimes you have songs that are like key memories in your mind and you bring them back up and you're like, man, so good.
When I think back, like, I was a big fan of Teddy Riley. Um, so I just wanted to make all my productions either sound like his music or Babyface's, pretty much. Those were like the two choices of what I would pattern myself after. So Crazy was definitely us trying to get on that New Jack Swing thing.
Yes.
Came close. We came close.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. um, so now I want to talk to you about because I've told you and you've seen the show. Like I love Michael Jackson. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, and my whole show is dedicated towards like educating people about Michael Jackson and sharing the human side of him. Because I think as fans, I grew up. I was born in '87, so I did grow up. He was around during my lifetime, but a lot of the moments, there was so much mystery around him. So I thought it would be really cool to talk to you a little bit about the time that you guys spent with Michael working on Moonwalker, and another really cool day that I have some video on that we'll talk about later. But first, tell me what was the first time that you guys actually met Michael Jackson?
To me, I would probably say at that school celebration. To me,
Yes.
that was like an official meeting um, when we worked on the Moonwalker movie. I think was before that. We didn't really get to meet him. Like we got to see him passing by here and there, but we didn't really get to meet him. So I think that was the first time. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so we're going to be talking about both of those things. So then let's talk about Moonwalker because this Moonwalker is like such a cult classic amongst fans, amongst everybody. I feel like everybody at some point grew up like watching that VHS tape or now DVD or now streaming it, depending
Right.
on your generation. And let's take a look. I have a picture of the Moonwalker, the movie poster, which fun fact, I this was one of the tapes that I used to watch over and over that my parents realized, okay, she likes Michael Jackson a little too much because we have to put this tape away. She just wants to rewind it and watch it over and over. So um so you guys were in Batter, which is a segment. It's a reimagination of the music video for Bad's title song Bad. It was featuring kids filling the roles of the various people from the original. The video features Brandon Adams, who also appears in the Smooth Criminal segment. And fun fact, he also makes a cameo in your video for A Little Romance with the Smooth Criminal suit on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. So let me show a short clip. This is going to be video number 2. We're going to show a short clip of the Batter intro just to give people a taste of what we're talking about.
That's me with.
That's him. That's you. Just a taste, just a taste.
Yeah.
So how did you guys, because all of you, you and your brothers, all 4 of you were in Batter, right?
Right.
How did you guys get involved in the Moonwalker project?
Um, I think it was an audition. Really, like we're part of that whole Hollywood kid uh circle at that time, and most of the kids in there in that video were basically the whole Hollywood kid bunch who could dance. You know what I'm saying? They basically picked all the best ones who could dance, at a young age. So most of those kids are the same kids we will always see when we go on interviews for acting jobs. So I guess again, since we already had the preparation for dancing, acrobatics, everything, it's like boom, we do the audition and yes, we're in. It's that simple.
Wow. Now, this Batter video, when I watched this back the other day and I realized, I'm like, wait, they did all of the choreography basically from the original video and put another spin on it. What was the rehearsal like for that? What was the process like? Like, tell us.
Yeah, I think the original choreographer actually was there, but he had some assistants
So
who
Jeffrey
would,
Daniels probably, right?
yeah, he would come through, but he had some assistants who would basically be taking us through the steps piece at a time. And I remember rehearsals lasting like at least a week, if not longer. So yeah, it took time, but when you have all the kids doing it together, I think it makes it easier to learn it. So yeah, it was nice. Big movie studio. We were inside rehearsing, and then Mike's trailer will pull up outside, and everybody will go, staring and looking. And then only one kid who could actually go over there and get inside the trailer and chill with Mike,
Who
and
was
he
that?
would come out, bring all the info.
Oh, really? Now you got
Yeah,
to tell us, wait, who was that?
he is Jermaine's son, so he'd be like my uncle. Uncle Mike.
Oh.
So that's why he had all access, you know.
Wow.
Bro, Mike's nephew.
That is
So,
so cool.
but you know, to me, like Mike was kind of like a president. You know what I'm saying? And a president always has a lot of people like, oh, sir, this happened. We need to deal with that. And somebody else is like, oh, we just got a phone call, such. You got another contract. They need you over here. They need you in uh, London tomorrow night. And then somebody else is like, oh, we're setting up the scene. Are you getting ready? We need you in like 15 minutes. And so with all of that, it's like it gets kind of hectic, you know. And he definitely would have to stay like kind of secluded and exclusive,
Right.
with all that power and the way people react, you know, it's not easy to handle all of that, you know.
Well,
So it's crazy. I mean, even me, like, let's say if Michael Jackson is the 100% star, right? Let's just say I'm a 1% of that star. Some fans will come up to me, shake my hand, and start crying like, "I can't believe I missed you." So if they could do that to me, and I'm a one star, just think how they go crazy over him. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You've heard the stories of how he wears disguises and all types of stuff, just to travel through the world, to manage all of that craziness. So it's not easy. I understand.
wow. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense that he would kind of stay like off on his own. Because I was wondering, I'm like, did he ever? Who knows? Maybe he had a disguise and was like peeking in on the rehearsal process, which you guys didn't know. Could be, right?
It could be for real. He's that type. He is that type.
So tell me, so what? How long? So rehearsal was about a week, but how long was the filming process? Was it longer than that, or because it seemed
I,
like that was a lot of work?
yeah, probably within a week. I feel like the rehearsal was more than a week. I can't remember all the details. My mom would probably know better. But yeah, we probably filmed for like a few days, I think. Cause once you got all the steps, you're ready to go. And filming is very expensive. When you get on set, they're watching the time because they're paying all these different people. They're renting, so much stuff. So everything needs to be like boom, 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 programmed, organized. You know what I'm saying? At least that's how it was back in the days. Now things are changing.
Well, I would imagine too that you guys would have had to take breaks and have school and stuff like that because everybody on the set was a kid, right?
Exactly. Yep. That's usually normally what happens with child stars. They'll take you in a little classroom or whatever if school is in, if it's not summer break or whatever. But yep, that's all part of it. That's all part of it.
Wow. Well, I want to show one of my favorite parts in this next video clip. This is like my favorite part of Batter, which I think is so cool. So let's check this out. The backflips. So
Yeah.
that was you. Was that you and Taj doing the backflips?
uh yeah, well, that was me doing the backflip like when I ran up the stairs and did a few backflips. I'm not sure if Taj did a backflip, did he?
I think
Or
you guys just maybe we could run it back one more time because right before the video clip ends, you both do a backflip and then toss a hat. Do you
okay.
remember that? Let's watch it again. Let's watch it again real quick. Let's watch it. It's like at the very end.
Okay.
So here you are, and I feel like I could see you focus when you're dancing here too. All right, watch right now.
Yeah.
He's-
Maybe Kyrie. That wasn't me.
That wasn't you.
I'm not,
That was you.
I can't see it close. Yeah, maybe it was.
Okay.
Because how am I going to be on the right and I'm on the other side? But it might be editing.
I feel
They
like
probably-
because I feel like you had your haircut. You had like the tail at the back, right?
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
so you. I was gonna ask you, and it's funny because like in my mind I'm like, oh, he must remember, but I have to remind myself that that was when you were a kid, so you might not remember this exact moment, you know?
Exactly. For real. Yeah.
But I can imagine they made you guys do that a bunch of times just to because it looks perfect here. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Go.
did you? What was it like to see the final product?
It was nice. I mean, I don't remember the actual day, but I think the same way I see it now and I love it is the same way I felt then. It's very quality, very well done, you know? So, yeah, it's the bomb.
That's
Definitely.
cool. Do you ever? Because I recently showed my daughter, she's 3, but I recently showed her Batter. Have you shown like your kids and cousins and other family this clip before?
Hmm. Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably so. It's hard for me to remember. Like my sons are like almost grown up now. So probably if I played it for them, that was like 20 years ago or, 15 to 20 years ago.
Right.
And then my daughter right now, she's like, she will see some few things here and there, but it's like she's not interested. She's interested in YouTubers,
Right.
She'll
Right.
watch, but she'll scroll off. She likes my own videos where I'm singing by myself. She likes those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, cool videos of dad.
Uh,
So let's talk about Gardner Elementary. This was on October 11th, 1989, and I think it's so cool that I get to talk to you because you were one of the people that was actually there in the mix. So for people that don't know, let's show this quick video clip of the day. We'll show this first, and then we'll talk about it.
Gathered at the Gardner Street School in Los Angeles last week for a dedication ceremony to rename the school's assembly hall the Michael Jackson Auditorium. Jackson once attended 6th grade at the Gardner Street School, and he must have fond memories of those days because he actually showed up to acknowledge the honor.
As a token of our respect and our love for you, not only as a performer, but as a fine human being. Here you are, dear.
I am deeply touched and honored that the PTA, principal, and faculty members and students have been so kind as to dedicate the auditorium where I sat as a child in my honor. We must all never forget that the children are our future, and without them, mankind would become extinct. I thank Ms. Gerson, I love you, and Ms. Rose Fine, I love you, and the Gardner Street School Associates, and all the children, I love you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robert Wilson. I've got to be the luckiest kid in my school because I get to welcome you personally and present you with this key to our school.
Very cool. So, let me just tell everybody that the school didn't know that he was going to show up. I found this article, Hakeem, from the Los Angeles Times the day after, and and the writer basically said that the school wrote to him and was like, "Hey, we're going to dedicate an auditorium," and then all of a sudden, like 3 days before, he's like, "All right, I'll be there," and they were like, "Wait, what?" So
Wow.
you guys were there with him that day. Can you tell me anything you remember about that day? Like, how did you guys end up going there with him, first of all?
I don't really remember. I don't know how we got there, but we were there. I remember John from Troop was there. Maybe the label, somebody at the label may have linked us through. Couple other people were there, but that was a really powerful day. Like in my life, I used to say like it was like maybe one of the best days of my life. You know what I'm saying? Because they had us in a room, kind of like a waiting room somewhere, a classroom, um, waiting, and then all of a sudden, Michael walks in with like some security or whatever. He walks in the room, he sees us, and then he's just like, Hakeem, I need to talk to you. Let's go.
What?
And I'm like, what? It's like exactly like you're calling my name. You know what I'm saying? We looking up, it's Michael, you know what I'm saying? But we just watching. And this the first thing that come out his mouth is like, Hakeem, I need to talk to you. Let's go. I'm like, okay, let's roll. And he just took me for a walk and he basically gave me like advice, pep talk, inspirational, motivational, like speeches. You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing I can kind of compare it to is like somebody like Deepak Chopra for some reason. You know, that's how it felt to me. And I kind of look at him like a guru like that because that's kind of what gurus do. What goes on in his mind that's gonna for him to say, "Hey, I need to talk to you." It's basically like I need to drop something on you. I need to download something into your brain. Let's go. You know, and it was all positive stuff. It was, you know, keep going. You got this. You're a natural. You're amazing. Take it. Run with the ball. Such and such. You know, just left, right. And I'm like, whoa, like, I can't believe this. This Michael Jackson telling me this, telling me I'm great. You know what I'm saying? Telling me I'm just as what he is. You know what I'm saying? In essence. So it just activates you. I remember the other day, I was thinking like, just thinking about life and the human experience. And I was like, no human being is better or greater or less than another, right? Because somebody who's a lamb today might decide to turn into a lion tomorrow,
Yeah.
right? And somebody who's a lion today may turn into a lamb tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You never know. That's how life goes. You know, we're all human, and there's ups and downs. You know, so bringing that back to Michael Jackson is that he was letting me know that everything you see in me is in you. I'm no greater than you. You know what I'm saying? We're all the same. You just got to activate it, wake it up within yourself, and acknowledge that it's there. And I'm here to show you and help you confirm that it's in you. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Wow.
like, whoa, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And he's realized that if you watch a lot of his videos and stuff, he's like a manifester, a master manifester, you know? He thinks
Yes.
up, he thinks it up, he works hard at it and makes it come to fruition, you know, just like a lot of great ones we have out here, you know, to inspire us and guide. So I look at him as a guru, a guide, you know, a great inspiration. And that was just an amazing experience. And if you see the videos, like where we're walking to that classroom, he's like telling all the police people, like, "Hey, let him in, let him closer to me," like, because we were chatting as we were walking. We were talking about uh, our dance choreographer, you know what I'm saying, our performance, different things. You know, we were
Wow.
just chopping it up. So that was powerful. That was amazing.
That is such a
Yeah.
powerful story, and I'm like I'm so excited that you shared that. Like how amazing and like surreal that must have been.
For real. And I think, you know, we all need that. You know, maybe it would be nice if someone could come to us and basically just confirm and say, like, "Hey, you are enough. You're
Yeah.
amazing." Someone we respect, right? To wake it up within us. But now what we have to learn now is that if no one does that, we have to do it for ourselves. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So, and it's very powerful because what you believe about yourself, you know, is very important on how you can bring that into reality.
Wow. That's just so impactful and wow. Just like a really, really cool moment and experience that you had with Michael. Um, I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say. I want to show people some pictures from this day because just so they can, you know, they can go back into time and see. This is you guys. This is Hakeem. This is the picture that I saw online of you guys with his security
Yeah.
bilbray. I don't know. I should have asked you if you have other pictures.
Uh there's a video I have actually on my IG of that day. But not, yeah, I have that same picture that you have there. But
Let me show the video then because I clipped it up. This is like most of what I could find of you guys with Michael Jackson. So let's watch that. What do you say?
okay.
All right, let's watch it.
Sit down for the hell with the camera. Are you ready?
Oh, that's what he's going to do.
I thank the boys and the singing group, the boys, and all the people of Gardner Street School. This is the happiest day of my life. I love you. Thank you.
Okay, let's go with that. Wait, come on.
Let him get in between.
He would got it.
I'd like to introduce one of my favorite groups, the boys, to everybody.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's that moment
For
when you guys were going up the stairs together. You're like right there chatting it up with Michael.
mm-hmm. Yep. Big time. It was crazy. Amazing day. And and I know a few other people who got to spend more time with him, you know. And for some reason I feel a connection, you know. One like Akon, you know, I kind of helped Akon like get started into American music. You know, I recorded like his first demo tapes that he played to labels and stuff to get his first deals, things like that. So basically, like from from the bottom, you know what I'm saying? We've been knowing Akon even from in Senegal when we first performed in Senegal. He
Wow.
performed a show. I was 17 years old, so that was way back, and we kept the link, but he ended up producing Michael Jackson. And even, you know, I've been working with Akon, producing with him as kind of one of his go-to producers as well. And there was one track there might have been a couple that Michael wanted to do. There was one track he wanted to do of Minds. So Akon did like some singing on top of it, but I made the beat. But then another songwriter who's actually a big songwriter, but he was just upcoming back then. His name is Nasri. He also wrote on that same beat. And he got so excited and he loved it. He just put it on YouTube. So when Michael
Oh,
Jackson found out that it was already released on YouTube, he's like, nah, I ain't dealing with it. Man, Akon called me like, yo, bro, like we about to lose this one. Tell that
no.
guy down. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. That man. But that's how it is, you know. Sometimes it's like that. But I'm happy that he did like one of my beats, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's so cool.
Family connection. And then he's tight with Teddy, you know what I'm saying? And then Teddy was like my mentor. I was just trying to copy him, you know, admiring him from afar. One day, the phone rings at the house. My mom picks up. It's Teddy. Like, yo, your son is amazing. This and that, producing, blah blah blah. I want to pick him up, you know, take him bowling, whatever. He come to the crib, pick me up. We just be talking about music, mixing sounds, this and that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he was like a big brother to me way back then. And even up to now, we hooked up recently, and he's still like a strong big brother. So that connection, same thing with Akon. You know what I'm saying? So it's some type of family connection.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is so cool and really interesting to hear like all the different links and like you said, all these people worked with Michael Jackson and spent time with him as well. And yeah, it's just it's really impactful because I feel like everyone, you know, all of you the people you just mentioned have created their own lane and stuff. And to hear that, you know, there's somehow that Michael Jackson connection is just it's just a really cool fact. It's like the 7 degrees of separation.
For real, for real. Yeah, and it to me it just shows us that like we have the spark, and you know he was there to confirm it for us and to blow on the flame, basically, you know, make the flame brighter, you know.
Yeah.
uh, what else can I say? Yeah. Yeah, all the people I mentioned, like, you know, we're very inspired creators, you know. I remember thinking recently, like, producers sometimes are kind of like really not humble, but like really kind of cool people. You know what I'm saying? Usually, to me, I see
Mhm.
that in a lot of them, and I think it's because we kind of like the gateway of musical joy. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of a big responsibility too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
People come to us because we're the gateway. Like, oh, make me a track, make me a hit, this and that. They want us to bring out the joy of music. We
Yes.
know how to we know how to open the door and let it flood out. You know what I'm saying? So that's like that affects us. You know what I'm saying? It definitely has a big effect on us. And but that's our job, you know.
That's
That's our job. And Mike was able to pick that out to realize, okay, these are ones and ones. And I know I have that same ability. Akon, Teddy, uh, Dark Child, you know what I'm saying? We all have that talent scouting thing because that eye, because we know what the spark is. We live with the spark. So if somebody
yeah.
spark, we'll be able to, you know, find talent and say, hey yo. That's why when I saw Akon, he like would sing his melodies right in front of me and I could feel it. I could feel the inspiration in what he was doing. So I was like, bro, he didn't have no money to record his demo tapes in our studio or nothing. I was like, yo, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Because what you're doing is resonating. You got the spark, you got the spirit, you have that inner motivation, you know, that inner inspiration.
Yeah.
So Mike was the guru, and I think he definitely, touched us all and transformed us all and planted something in our heads that like it's even still growing right now, you
Wow.
know?
The
But in
inspiration lives
everything,
on.
exactly, exactly,
That
definitely.
I love that. And that's so powerful to know from you having known him and worked on a project with him, like, us as fans. And there are people that are fans of Michael that weren't even alive when he passed away now, that they'll comment on videos and they'll be like, MJ fangirl, like he inspires me every day. And like it's just so cool to learn that the inspiration lives on, How powerful is that? All of the work that he put in from child stardom all the way up to his 50 years, it really paid off, right?
Definitely, definitely. It's not easy to handle all of that, but you know, I guess they say to whom much is given, much is required. So maybe maybe we built for this. I mean, if you look at the stories he tells about growing up in the household with the family and his dad and everything, and I could see his dad was like no joke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all of that stuff prepares you for being able to more handle more stuff. There's one story like we were at one award show backstage and all the Jacksons were back there, the whole family, were backstage, and then Joe Jackson just comes up behind me and he's a boxer. He uses his finger like this and just pops me in the back of the head, right? Oh, it's like, why? I didn't do nothing. Well, but like later it's like, okay, maybe this is the way you show love. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like that. They just man, bam. And that's I love you. That's what it means. But if he did that to me and I ain't even did nothing to him.
Right.
It's just hateration, love. It's love hateration. You hate my shine. You love me so much that you hate on my shine. And you got a pop, right? So I'm like, if he did that to me, just think, you know what I'm saying? What Mike and them had to go through.
I
You know?
know. Definitely like
So
strict, upbringing and a lot. Um
exactly.
I did want to ask
That's
you too, because you mentioned the Jacksons. Marlon Jackson was in A Little Romance music video,
yeah.
which, by the way, everybody should watch because I know I have some people that listen to the show that are like 12, 16, whatever. Go back and watch A Little Romance video. That was such a cool like concept that you got. It was like a kids club or a kids like concert
Yeah.
and club, and the adult celebrities couldn't get in. You had like Belle Biv DeVoe, they couldn't get in.
Will Smith. There's a
Yeah.
lot of video. Yeah.
That was
Uh,
hilarious. There was one more thing that we were talking about that reminded me. I wanted to ask you about when it came to the Jacksons for the video "Crazy." You guys emulated a lot of stars of that time, or a lot of legends in general, not of just that time, but Bobby Brown, Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson. I'm kind of not remembering the others, but I wanted to ask you: do you think Michael or Janet ever saw that video, or like, did they ever say anything about it?
yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. Nah, nobody ever said anything to us. But that's something I realized about Mike is that he knows what's going on in the streets. He's a regular person. For him to walk in the room and say, Hakim, I need to see you. Like, bro. And then he's like, I've been watching you, you know, the way you perform. You're a natural, this, that, you know. he knows what's going on. Just to learn the moonwalk, he knew what was going on in the streets. You know what I'm saying? To go get Teddy Riley, he knew what was going on in the streets. You know what I'm saying? From Harlem to Hamburg. You know,
Yeah.
he knows what's up. So yeah, they saw it. It's something funny about that video that I just thought about. I was like, that strategy of mocking people's videos is kind of the same viral strategy that people are doing on YouTube these days. Like if something catches, if something is really hot, then a lot of people will like copy that same video,
Yes.
in a way. So I'm like, wow, we was doing the same viral thing way back then that they're doing right now. So it's funny. Deep, 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 deep.
Well, that is so cool, and I've got to tell you, I could talk to you forever. This has just been such a cool conversation. I've come away with so many cool memories from you and life lessons and just really cool stuff. I wanted to ask you though, what do you think because you actually met Michael Jackson in person. A lot of us fans have like these preconceived notions of what Michael Jackson was like in real life. What do you think the biggest misconception is out there about Michael Jackson?
Biggest misconception. Uh, hmm. I just think he seemed to me like he seemed kind of soft. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I think in that type of lifestyle where you're like, I don't know, when you just really study how he grew up with all the big brothers and everything, and the things that he witnessed and stuff, it kind of makes sense. And then the Stardom life, it makes sense. And then a lot of people can't be soft. It's kind of like to be a softie is like a luxury.
Mm.
Like for me, I was thinking about this the other day when I became a vegetarian. My dad was a little bit worried because he said he felt I lost the killer instinct. You know what I'm saying? That blood. There's something I just got too docile.
Mm.
Like before being vegetarian, I was a go-getter, ready to get everything. I was so deep into material things like BMW, Benz, Range Rover, this and that. But once I start cooling down into this meditation and this vegetarian stuff, it's like I didn't really care about getting money so much, and the killer instinct started to die down. And that made me think that the way this world is structured, it's not designed for softies. You know what I'm saying? Your parent would be worried about you because it's like, how are you going to survive in this hard, dog eat dog, uh, law of the jungle, you know what I'm saying, type of world we live in, walking around as a tree hugger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how I see Mike as a tree hugger. You know what I'm saying? He'd rather be in a tree, chilling, writing a song. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yes.
playing games than doing what the average person is doing. So that's just kind of how I see him. Like people don't understand people like that. You know, because our world is the way it's been designed, and me not going to school really, you know, that also put me in another mindset. So I just think like the way he grew up, the way he, had so much fame and so much talent from the beginning, so much refined talent. We all have talent, but he was actually honing it, rehearsing, you know what I'm saying? Singing rehearsals, dancing rehearsals, on a daily. So being so refined from young, it puts a lot on you. It can isolate you. But to me, that may have made him more pure than the average person.
Yeah.
To me, that's what I got from him. That's what I sense, like a purity. You know what I'm saying?
And
Now, of course, there are stories, there are a lot of different allegations or whatever, but from my own personal sensing, it felt like this is a person who's kind of like been able to protect a certain level of purity. And I heard he was the type of person who wouldn't want to use curse words, you know, which is kind of on that more softy tree hugger type vibe. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So whereas we out in the streets saying, yo, yo, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Every other word we dropping something crazy. So which, kind of spoils the purity a little bit, you know?
But I think it's that purity that has people from all over the world really feeling connected to Michael because he connects to a part of all of us that I guess as we grew up we got rid of. But he connects to like, that purity, that kind of childlike feeling and that we've all had at some point in our lives, which I think is so powerful.
And maybe that helped him to tap into the inspiration, the spark that I talked about. Maybe, that guarding that purity helps you to channel that inspiration even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He saw James Brown, he got inspired as a kid. Next thing you know, he's dancing. He's doing every step that James Brown does. You know what I'm saying? Because the fire is burning, and he kept it alive. His surroundings were conducive. His brothers are playing bass, drums, congos, this and that. His mom can play piano. His dad plays guitar. You're growing up in in conducive environment. It's over. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? And I heard they were like pretty religious too,
Yeah.
so that could probably help as well, you know, in being a part of his success. It's all discipline, you know, and and guarding, you know, guarding from the less desirable um aspects, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he seemed like a balanced cat. I'm sure he could go off on somebody if he needed to.
Right,
He could
right.
probably body in the face if he needed to. Probably preferred not to. Yeah.
That's so funny. I love this. Well, I have to say thank you, Hakeem, because you've been so generous with your time and with your stories and your memories. And like, I couldn't have asked for a better conversation with you today. But before you go, tell us, what is Hakeem up to? What are the Sons of Light up to? What's going on right now?
Um, we're just experimenting with inspiration. We are recording some new music,
Yes.
which we plan to release very soon. We're a little bit behind schedule, but it's probably better we just let it flow naturally. I know the fans have been waiting for so long and they want to reconnect with the energy, with all that joy from back in the days, all
Yes.
those memories, So, and we do too, we definitely want to connect. And, to me, the power is in community. You know what I'm saying? So we do need to pull all the fans together, have a good time, and build on something positive. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically the idea, and we're growing every day, studying every day, learning new things. You see, I'm out here in Rwanda right now. You know, I've been here for about a year and a half, living in new places, experiencing new cultures, you know, getting adding more on to the experience.
Yeah.
and then hopefully there's more to share.
Well,
You
we're
know,
going to be so excited to listen to whatever you have coming up next. And
nice.
thank you so much for your time. This has been so cool. And what is your Instagram? We want to pull up your Instagram just so people can see. We'll pull it up on the screen so people can follow you and
Yeah,
keep in
I guess
touch.
it's hot body. Yeah,
Yes.
Hakim body. Definitely go check me out. And yeah, we got new music coming. We got a lot of stuff brewing. We just staying inspired. You know, that's it. Try to follow that inner voice, which has all the answers, and stay on purpose. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That's the main thing. Try to align with your purpose.
I love that.
That's,
I am I'm don't go anywhere because I'm gonna let the people know where else they can listen to this. But Hakeem, thank you. You guys, this episode was amazing. We I have this episode not only on YouTube, MJ Fangirl TV, which is almost at 50,000 subscribers. Let's get us there by the end of the summer, please, please, please. But also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, any place you listen to podcasts. Also, make sure that you are checking out Hakeem so that you can keep up with whatever's going on with him. And I can't wait to talk to you guys in the next episode. Please leave your comments down below. You guys, I just talked to Hakeem. See you guys next time.
hey, love.
Yay!
Namaste.